Time now to talk the latest in Florida politics, including the legislative session and the governor's race. I'm joined by our political contributor, Trimmel Gomes. Thank you for joining us this evening.
Thanks for having me.
So let's start off talking about the governor, the $400 million cuts in auto registration fees, using that as kind of a something for his campaign, his upcoming campaign, because Governor Chris was the one who installed those additional fees.
Yeah, back in the day. It's a good thing for the consumers and for all us drivers out there. We're going to start to see at least $25 savings when we actually deal with our registration. But the governor is using this as a campaign stab at the former governor, Charlie Crist, who's actually running for governor again. But there's one thing missing in his whole argument is that, all the Republicans of the past during the Crist era actually voted for the increase that they're now cutting back. So that's one part of the thing that you have to pay attention to, and it's all politics.
Let's also talk about the budgets, because both the House and Senate have approved their version of the budget. A little bit difference, the $75 billion versus $75.3 billion. Is that correct?
That is correct.
What are the differences in the two chambers?
There are subtle differences when it comes to some environmental programs and construction funding for schools and colleges. Right here in the local area, when you're dealing with FAMU and FSU and the engineering school, we're seeing on the Senate version side, there's a plan to allow FSU to start its own engineering school to be independent from FAMU. So that's a bit of a difference that we're seeing here in the local area.
It was $13 million that they're going to want to give FSU to break away from the College of Engineering that has ties with the FAMU.
And it's very controversial as watching your reports, FAMU say they've been caught off guard and they're working through the process to try and catch up and to see it through.
Okay, let's also talk about the gun bill, the
so-called warning shot bill. Yes, that made it through the Senate. The Senate voted for it, so now it's headed to the governor's desk. As you know, Marissa Alexander, the case in Jacksonville, who fired a shot and was sentenced to jail, and she's now on bond and going through the whole process to go through her court hearing. But this would actually relax that and give a break. If you are found innocent, you can even have your records not be held. It won't be trailing you that you were involved in such activities with this new measure that's going through to the governor's desk.
This is to do with the 1020 life law, is that correct?
1020 life law. It eases it down, but it strengthens the stand your ground law, which a lot of Democrats are opposed to.
Okay, and of course we'll be watching that very closely. It's one of the gun bills that has been going through, but there are some other ones too that still haven't made it through. We'll have to see what happens with those.
Yes, and I'm here to keep you updated along the way.
Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Of course, Trimmel Gomes will be joining us to talk Florida politics Tuesdays on the news at sunrise and Thursdays right here on the news at 6. Now let's get a check of your evening forecast with our chief meteorologist, Cassie.